If you're watching this video, it means you're probably thinking about doing a digital detox in 2025. That's why I want to tell you guys about my journey of doing a digital detox and if I still think it's worth it to do it in 2025. So my journey actually started a few summers ago where I decided to do my first ever digital detox. I was doing this because I was on pretty much all the social medias, constantly going through them and not being productive and wasting my time. Not only that, I started to see that there was a trend in negativity going around in social media, and it wasn't really the fun, lighthearted thing to keep up with your friends like it used to be in the past. Another thing is I saw it started to change kind of the way I saw things, and it felt like it was really affecting my mental health. Another thing that really inspired me to do the digital detox is reading this book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. This book was very influential in me making the decision to do a digital detox because in this book he talks about how he chooses to live a focused life in this digital age in a noisy world without using things like social media. And after doing the summer of a digital detox, I did choose to get back on just Instagram. I kept all the rest of my apps deleted and not really using them anymore. And I've learned a lot by doing these different digital detoxes. And I want to tell you guys the things I've learned both positively and things that you should be looking out for that you might not be thinking about. That way you guys can make a decision if doing a digital detox is still worth it in 2025. So number one is the abundance of negativity on social media. When I decided a few years ago to get off and do the digital detox, one of the main reasons was I felt there was a rise in negativity. I think this has a lot to do with more and more algorithm-based content. Now, algorithm-based content is content being fed to you that you obviously consume. So it could be as easy as saying, just stop consuming the negative content and you'll stop seeing negative content. But the negative content has like a gravitational pull. It makes you want to keep watching. And it's so easy to just stumble upon it. And after you watch a few of those negative videos or negative things, your whole feed gets spammed by it and you can't seem to let it go. Not only is it the video or the content, but it's also in the comments where I feel like people are even more negative than the actual post. I remember for me, it was so easy to be looking at something on social media that was, oh, I just want to look at something that's positive or I just want to get some information, some news. And then within a few clicks, you'd see something that's so negative and that it kind of ruins your entire mood and your day. I remember when I'd constantly be seeing those negative things, switching from app to app, I would start having fake arguments with myself and my brain about these topics. And I would be working myself up over something that wasn't even real. This is pretty much a positive feedback loop. A positive feedback loop is when something happens and it causes more of the same thing to happen, making the effect bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It gets larger and moves faster the more it rolls. How did this relate to social media? It's so easy nowadays for when you're on social media, say something outrageous just to get likes and bait people just to get likes and retweets. And as soon as it starts getting a little bit more, more and more people engage in it negatively and it'll continue to snowball and grow. To the point where all your feed is this negative content. I feel like one thing that affected me is I started to lose empathy almost. Because I'd see these things and I'd be having these fake arguments with myself in my own head about the content that I was seeing, and I just wouldn't feel bad about anything anymore. When I saw something happen to someone that was negative, my first reaction wouldn't be, oh, I'm feeling empathetic or that sucks that happened. And I feel like that was starting to happen more and more. And that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to take a break or do a digital detox. Another thing I noticed was the focus and productivity aspect. I feel like for me, it was so easy to just go through one app to another. And by the time you look up off your phone, it had already been an hour or 2 hours and you don't know where that time went. And it was so weird because I'd honestly start feeling exhausted after doing that. I wouldn't want to continue on doing what I was normally supposed to do. If I had a task or I wanted to do something productive, I would just not do that because I just, 2 hours is gone. I don't feel like doing that anymore. And I'd feel exhausted. As I was doing the self-improvement journey around this time as well, I had so many things that I wanted to be achieving, so many tasks I wanted to be doing. And I felt like by consuming so much social media, I was just wasting my time. By doing a digital detox, it allowed me to have more deep work time and just be able to prioritize the things I actually wanted to do and the goals I wanted to attack. The third thing is, it can be hard at first to let go of social media, but after just a week or so, it gets pretty easy. But the key here is to realize that it does become easy over time to let it go, but as soon as you start getting back on, it can be just as easy to go back in the opposite direction. You can have a lot of those negative effects kind of wiped away pretty quickly once you start taking a break. And for me, that definitely happened because I chose not to go back on pretty much any of my social medias except Instagram, which I'm going to talk about in the end why I did choose to go back on there at a limited capacity. If vice versa, it can be very easy to just fall back in the trap of, oh, like I feel good now, like I can handle being back on social media. You download the app, and next thing you know, you're back on it addicted because the dopamine, because of the way these apps are set up, the way they want you to stay on there, they want you to engage in negative content, they want you to get in the comment section and argue with people. That way you get the notification, and now you're engaging in more commentary, you're on the app more. So it's very key to just like protect yourself and not at the first inkling just go back to social media. Take a break in the beginning and have a set amount of time that you want to do it, and focus your mindset on actually taking that full amount of allotted time that you chose to do to actually stay off it, because it can be very easy to say, oh, I think I feel fine, I can handle it now, and then you'll be back to square one in no time. There are some things that I think you should think about, and one of the main things is connection with friends. I know nowadays there's like this mindset of like, you can't have friends online, that's lame, you have to go touch grass, go talk to people IRL, like, social media is lame, and that's like in the self-improvement community, right? And I agree to an extent, like you should definitely, go socialize, build up those skills, and social media consumption definitely hurts a lot of people because they don't have the social skills they once had. But I think also it can be good to have some sort of social media presence. At least for me, I noticed that like for me, what I did enjoy and why I did go back onto Instagram in a limited capacity is because I still enjoyed keeping up with my friends that I don't live near anymore, or I'm not able to talk to as much because we're not in the same school anymore, or whatever it may be. And also I love traveling, so I'd meet people on my travels and I'd love to just keep up with them and see what they do and see where they're going and still have that communication with them. That's one thing you will miss out if you do a digital detox or just completely delete your social medias, is people you were keeping up with and talking to on social media, you will lose connection. And I think that is something that you shouldn't just sweep under the rug by saying, oh, it's just a person I met on social media, like, oh, if they wanted to, they would reach out. I think social media can be a great tool to actually keep in contact and keep connection with those people. Then at the end of the day, what I realized is I really like the original aspects of social media. When Instagram was first created, it was just a place to share photos with your friends and keep the conversation with them going and keep in touch with people maybe you don't live near or don't get to talk to as much. I chose to get back on Instagram because I had a lot of friends, like I said, that were all over the country, all over the world, and I enjoyed keeping up with. But I wanted to keep it in a limited capacity, so I set a limit of anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes on my phone, max a day where I'm on that app. And having that sort of a limit actually is helpful because it keeps me away from doing things like going on my Explorer page or Instagram Reels or seeing unnecessary content. In that limited amount of time I have, I just want to check up on my messages with my friends that I message on Instagram DMs, or look at their stories and see what they're up to, or see what new posts they have. And having that limited amount of time on Instagram, it only really allows me to do that. So if I waste my time looking at Reels, I won't be able to actually catch up with my friends. So is it still worth it to do digital detox in 2025? I think the answer is definitely it is still worth it. What I would recommend is taking a digital detox for 1 to 2 months at first, where you're completely off all the apps. After that, get back on maybe one app in a limited capacity with a strict time restriction. I think this will really help a lot of people because it'll show them how they really don't need all these social media apps, and they don't need all these things to enjoy their life. And they'll also realize how much more productive they can be, and they'll also realize how much less negative they feel. They will feel much more positive energy around them. Another thing I recommend is the 3 negative rules. So if you do come back on social media in a limited capacity, see 3 negative things, whether that's comments, videos, posts, whatever it may be on that social media, you take a break for the rest of the day. So you have a 3-strike policy. At the end of the day, I think social media can be a very useful tool. I know it's a useful tool for me. I like to create content, and I want to continue to do that on social media, but it can also lead to a negative path if you let it. I recommend anybody who's feeling stressed or anxious or just feels like social media isn't for them is to take a digital detox and take a break for a little bit. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are you planning on doing a digital detox in 2025? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.